Yeah, been alright. Doing into the month, so.
Yeah. Back for another season.
Yeah. What's going on upstairs too? Do you announce anything? Yeah. So, a bit all over the place, isn't it? But see what happens. Yeah, it should be sweet. Next couple of weeks, hopefully. So that'll be good.
Enjoying your time off?
Yeah, it's been good. First off season, like.
Yeah. You would have been NPL, first grade NPL. Yeah.
Can't remember last time I had an off season, so been alright. A bit bored, but yeah, you get a bit bored, but it's alright. Yeah, he came up yesterday as well. So.
Yeah, he said he's been coming to Wollongong coming over as well.
Yeah. A few of the boys came up last night. I wasn't here last night.
Yeah, he's down there because he's from
Yeah. He was at that game. Yeah. Fair enough. He's doing good. He's got another couple of seasons there, so.
Yeah, now Lizzie's moved over there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, should be good.
Surprised you weren't here for all the bunch of races.
Yeah. Should be good. Oh, mate. Talk to you later.
Take care. Yeah, not too bad, mate, yeah.
Yeah, he's back now. Yeah, me and him will probably start
How is that, mate? How are you doing?
next week, I'd say.
I want him back here. Right. You're growing boy, mate. Catch you so much.
Oh.
I'm here every week, I don't know what you're talking about. We're here every week. Oh, that's it, yeah, okay. I'm here when we're here. Right now, really? Sounds like a bloody first round. Okay. Hopefully we have a good one there.
The sun is shining, beaming down on us here as the Mariners finally make their return to Plume Park ahead of a Super Sunday of football. 7 fixtures across the NPL Men's New South Wales competition. And we're here, our focus is firmly on this one as the Central Coast Mariners play host to Wollongong Wolves, a distance derby of sorts. Pete Pryor to take you through all the action as it unfolds. An absolute pleasure to have your company, as it always is, wherever it is in the world you may be watching from. The team news is in, so let's take you through how each side lines up ahead of kickoff here at Plume Park. Lucas Valela has selected, of course, Joel Wade in goal, retaining the same back four as started on Thursday night against Manly with Luca Pecora, Michael Paragali, Rocco Smith and Ben Mewett. Ahmed El Helu, the sole change, coming in up top after Harper Riles tweaked his hamstring in that Thursday night fixture against Manly. Aok Mo, number 10, Jai Rose, number 11, Muginga Mpota, number 21. And in the heart of midfield, 23 and 24, Lawrence Taylor and Kai Schumacher, respectively. On the bench for the hosts this afternoon, Jared Williams, reserve goalkeeper, Angus Reid, Freddie Clunas, Jesse Mantell, Shumba Motokoyi and Harrison Jablonski. As for Wollongong, who make the Just about 2.5 hour trip up the M1 or the F3 or whatever it's been called this weekend. They line up as follows. Number 13, Daniel Solsky. 2, Harrison Busnell. 4, Dylan Ryan. 5, Banri Kanazumi. The 8, Seb Duarte. 9, Damon Gray. 17, Marcus Beattie. 21, Nicholas Olsen. 25, Alex Maschio-Vecchio. 29, Ben Giassen. And 77, Rafa Leai. On the bench for the Travellers this afternoon, Ollie Yates, Woon Subsim, Liam Ball, James Anagnostopoulos, Lucas Traszewski and Dax Kelly. Will be Wollongong to get us underway here on this Super Sunday of football. Kicking from right to left on your screens in their traditional reds with the white trim. The whistle blows and away we go here at Pluim Park. Just the second time the Mariners have been able to host a fixture at their home venue since the end of February, if you can believe it. No shortage of wild weather and flooding lashing parts of the Central Coast over the last couple of months. Mariners will be hoping for a sweet return to their home. A home venue where, well, they haven't actually picked up any points so far in 2025. Having said that, they've only played 3 fixtures here. They did manage to get a point on the road last time these two sides met. That 2-2 draw, come from behind 2-2 draw as well. Alex Maschio-Vecchio and Nicholas Olsen on the score sheet for Wollongong back in round 4 against the Mariners as they raced out to a 2-0 lead. Reeled in by Aok Mo initially, who scored the first to halve the deficit, and then with just about the last touch of the game, Arthur De Lima securing a share of the spoils for the coast for a sublime cross from Logan Sambrook as well. Sambrook not involved in the squad today. Was involved in the under-20s set-up against Manly on Thursday night. Did come off early in that one there as well, and we'll try and see if we can get a bit of an update from the coaching staff as this one progresses. A morale-boosting 1-1 draw on Thursday night for the Mariners, if nothing else. Every point crucial, but they really need to start stringing some wins together. Nodded forward by Taylor towards El Helu, who was on the score sheet on Thursday against Manly. First senior goal for the season for the Central Coast Mariners for Ahmed El Helu. Here he is again. Unable to turn around Kanazumi. Juggled into the area and then laid off for Rafa Leai. Just recycling here through Seb Duarte. Dylan Ryan now. Maschio-Vecchio hugging the touchline. Marshalled all the way by a combination of Auk Mo and Luca Pecora, the latter of who affects the challenge. Wins the goal kick as well. Good defending from Luca Pecora. Have to be at his best today, of course, up against the likes of Maschio-Vecchio and Leai if they do switch flanks, which they do from time to time. Here is Rose, who's, well, that's a fairly agricultural challenge at best. Jai Rose looking to use that explosive sort of burst of pace there. It's a handy looking give and go with Ben Mewett. Cynically brought down really by Ben Giassen. Mewitz. Had Schumacher offering support as a short option. Instead opts to clip it in behind for El Helu. Touch just evaded him at the crucial moments. Paragali will send it back forward towards Mpota. Taylor. Pecora. Bulls wanted the handball off the chest though. Beatty. Driven forward towards Damon Gray. Route 1 stuff from Wolves. Nothing wrong with a bit of verticality though. Kanazumi. Now Ryan. Happy just to keep their foot on the ball, and of course as soon as I say that, Kanazumi with the raking crossfield ball towards Lei, who can't bring it under his spell. Smith. Maybe looking lay off that from Jai Rose. We'll race after the return pass as well. Rose, who of course went so close to proving himself the match winner on Thursday night as well in that draw with Manly. Denied by a very good last minute stop from Manly's goalkeeper Levi Kay. Joel Wade under a little bit of pressure, able to sort his feet out quickly enough. Pota looked for the flicked header. El Helu keeping Busnell honest. Taylor, well read to cut out the pass and link up with Okmo. Pota rising and maybe just lost it for a moment there. Okmo unable to keep it in. As we said, Mo on the score sheet last time these two sides met. The other scorer for the Mariners on that occasion, Arthur De Lima, not involved today. He's been involved in a number of age group national team setups of late. Mascio Vecchio. Duarte. No options in front for Dylan Ryan, so something to play to his centre-half partner there, or his centre-half, I should say, in Kanazumi, who has such a fantastic range of passing as evidence there. However, the further ball forward from Jiasin intended for Lei didn't quite match the same level of quality as the initial pass from Kanazumi. Through the opening 8 or so minutes here at Plume Park, if you are just joining us this Sunday afternoon for round 19, pleasure to have your company as always. Pete Pryor with you. We'll try and keep you updated on the other 6 matches currently taking place across the league as the afternoon progresses. Good defending again there from Michael Paragali, one-on-one with Damon Gray. And Pota, who's just dropped in off the line. Schumacher helps it on, and he'll get the return pass as well under a little bit of pressure there from Beatty. Okmo couldn't quite get there ahead of Jiasin. Mo and Rose, as we said earlier in the piece, so often switching flanks as they have done here. Hoisted back in by Mewitz. Advance up the field via successive throw-ins. One fixture I'm sure the Mariners will have a very keen eye on, currently taking place at 3 o'clock this afternoon as well. Rockdale against Mount Druitt, of course. Just 2 points separates the Mariners and Mount Druitt at the moment. Mascio Vecchio doesn't have the beating of Lawrence Taylor. It's a good recovering challenge, that, from Mariners central midfielder Taylor. Then a give and go with Rose, and Pota was offside. Kanazumi knew it as well. Promising little patch of link-up, though, between Lawrence Taylor and Jai Rose. And I know Lawrence Taylor is very highly rated by a number of Wolves technical staff, including one of their analysts. I'll be keeping a very keen eye on him throughout proceedings, I'm sure. Kanazumi. Now Olsen. Very deep. Nicholas Olsen. Scored a stunner last time these two sides met as well, did Olsen. He celebrated his new arrival as well. Mewett had to shield his eyes from the sun, but he brought it down excellently. And now Mo wriggling into the area. Had support from El Helu centrally. Goes wide to Mpota. Mpota checking back onto his left, and now Mewett, very advanced. Taken off his toe very well by Leoi, who now races forward. Meanwhile, it's Machio Vecchio on the near touch line. Able to skip inside of Pecora and release Damon Gray towards the penalty spots. Took a touch off Paragalli on the way through. The Mariners recover it. Taylor under a little bit of pressure. Good communication, though, from Kai Schumacher, I believe. Both sides just seemingly feeling each other out in the opening 10 or 11 minutes here at Plume. You mentioned, of course, in action elsewhere, Rockdale hosting Mount Druitt, of course. Sydney Olympic also playing host to Sutherland Sharks at 3 o'clock. Upper Leichhardt's playing host to Blacktown City at Lambert Park. St George playing host to Marconi. And we can bring you a couple of updates as well from those fixtures. Sydney Olympic against Sutherland. Sutherland have just gone ahead by a goal to nil. Appia currently leading Blacktown by the same scoreline. Marconi leading St George also by the solitary goal. Nice little nutmeg from Machio Vecchio, who gets the return pass as well. Driving to the byline, Machio Vecchio, sliding challenge. It's absolute chaos as Leoi pulls the trigger. And the Mariners just about able to scramble it clear. Rose, good challenge that from Dylan Ryan. Ball and all stuff. Leoi stayed down inside the area. Meanwhile, Dylan Ryan. Machio Vecchio now. That's about as close as we've come in this one to breaking the deadlock. Machio Vecchio was driving to the byline as he so often does and nearly creating absolute havoc in the 6-yard box. There's one thing that has certainly improved throughout the course of the season, though, as the rounds have ticked by for the Mariners. It is their scrambling defence. Their last-ditch stuff on display there, as well as this is hoisted in towards the penalty spot, repelled by Smith. Rose. Under a bit of pressure as well from Beattie. The Mariners able to play their way across the back to Smith. Now Mewett. Hello. Looking to clip one in behind for Jai Rose. Dylan Ryan telegraphed it all the way. Nodding it back to Daniel Solski. It's Petratos who's put Sutherland ahead against Sydney Olympic. News trickling through from those other fixtures. Michael Kuta, the goal scorer at Lambert Park for Appia. King Kuta, as they call him. I'm not sure anyone actually calls him that, but I do. Jai Rose now. Looking to release El Helu. Pecora's in a darting run into the area. Lawrence Taylor. Elhelu. Just looking to work their way into the area there, the Mariners, but the move just breaking down. Rocco Smith stepping forward to try and effect the challenge on Olsen, who's twisting and turning, trying to evade the attention of Smith. Able to lay it off in the end to Beattie. Marco Jesic, the goal scorer for Marconi. Meanwhile, at Rockdale, still goalless between Rockdale and Mount Druitt, as we are here at Plume Park, between the Mariners and Wollongong. Beattie. Again, that raking crossfield ball in the direction of Raffaelli. Cuts out by Mewett. Back to Busnell for Wollongong. Mascio Vecchio. Ryan underlapping. Continued his underlapping run, and he'll get the pass as well here from Gray. Rocco Smith saw him all the way. Here up the other end of the field, the Wolf Den on tour. Just a two-man Wolf pack today from the looks of it for the travelling Wolf Den. Do recall last time at Plume it was a lone Wolf, one-man Wolf pack. They've doubled their numbers, encouraging signs, if nothing else, for Wollongong. They've got a corner for their troubles here as well. Olsen to swing it away. Hooked clear at the very end of it by Lawrence Taylor. No one forward for the Mariners though. Speaking of, the last time these two sides met at Plume Park, one that will live, I'm sure, long in the memory for a number of Mariners fans. 2-0 down initially, coming back to win again oh so late by 3-2. It's really the Arthur De Lima show on the day as well. Mascio Vecchio though, trying to flip the script there. He's forced the corner. It did look like it was a bit of a loose touch from Alex Mascio Vecchio. Aaron is forced just to prod it behind. They are so dangerous from corners, the Wolves. Big timber, the likes of Dylan Ryan and of course Kanazumi as well. Again, it swung away. It was Dylan Ryan. He just launched himself at that one really. Didn't get any sort of clean connection on it. The other match between these two sides last season down at Wollongong. Of course, Wollongong really proved how deadly they are at set pieces. 5-1 in favour of the Wolves on that occasion. 3 goals from corners. Lawrence Taylor just ran away from him there, allowing Olsen to steal in. Ball never reached Gray though. Olsen will have it back. Forced wide by Mewett. Final touch off Ben Mewett for the Mariners. Pota, well, keeping Busnell very honest indeed. Busnell maybe might feel fortunate that it bounced the way it did all the way back to Daniel Solsky there. Pecora. Good header in fact to find Elhelu, but it's a difficult one to control, the bouncing ball there, and it just gave Marcus Beattie an extra second to steal in, and that's a pretty cynical challenge on Dylan Ryan. Rose just getting a talking to from the referee, saying use your head, be smart. Perhaps just a final warning for the Mariners flyer. It's a very late challenge indeed, that from Jai Rose. Getting a look on the replay here at Plume Park. Kanazumi, Seb Duarte, just keeps it moving. Ryan looking to again try and switch the point of attack in the direction of Leoi, and again cut out by Mewett. Mewett on his toes to get there ahead of Leoi, and then in turn Ayuk Mo brought down. It's a little bit scrappy in parts, this one, between the Mariners and Wollongong here. Taylor to Beattie applying the press. Rocco Smith nearly got trapped under his feet there, and Leoi picks the pocket of Rocco Smith, and Leoi finishes with aplomb. Absolutely no doubt about that one when he burst into the area. Rafa Leoi. The Mariners proving the masters of their own demise once again. Rocco Smith got away with the initial confrontation with Marcus Beattie, but Rafa Leoi, sharp as a tack, pouncing on the loose touch from Rocco Smith and prodding it home beyond Joel Wade. Through the opening 22 minutes here at Plume, the Wolves lead, and they're looking to double their advantage almost immediately. Seb Duarte. Olsen, inventive little flick to link up with Duarte. Leoi keeps it moving. A little too much urgency perhaps from Rafa Leoi. Just his fourth goal of the season in the league for Rafael Leoi. Hasn't scored, in fact, since all the way back in round 7. Solitary goal against St George FC. Of course, had a double in that 4-0 win over the Wanderers back in round 6, and he scored against another academy side today. Ball was intended for Mascio Vecchio. It was never going to reach him, and El Helu trying to latch on to his own pass, really. Dylan Ryan was always favourite to reach it. Lawrence Taylor stretching. Bakura able to keep it in play, but nearly gave it away to Mascio Vecchio. Beattie. Still a long way outside the top 6 are Wollongong, of course. A win today would see them on 24 points. Blacktown City, at the start of today's play, were occupying that 6th and final spot on 33 points. Wollongong certainly a side that at the very least feel like they should be playing finals, as this is again hoisted in towards Leoi. Joel Wade initially let it drop as it was tailing away from him, and then able to latch onto it. As it remains, the Mariners still anchored to the foot of the table. It's not all doom and gloom for them, though. As we said, last 2 times these sides have met, Mariners have taken 4 points from those 2 encounters. All come from behind victories and draws as well. Still plenty of football to be played in this one. The Wolves will, you would think, want to try and put the screws to this young academy side. All their experience, of course, players like Kanazumi and Dylan Ryan and Machio Vecchio on the ball here now, who, well, curse of the commentator perhaps is Machio Vecchio just letting that roll under his foot. Lawrence Taylor is the wall pass back to Pecora, all the way back to Paragali, and then all the way back to Joel Wade. Centrally is Schumacher. Just lets it roll and then able to spread it wide. Mewett so often goes on these forays forward and able to skip around the initial challenge. Now it's Rose shifting onto his right. Overlapping was Pecora. It does reach him eventually. A little back heel as well is good for Schumacher. Clipped into the back post and oof. That's a heavy collision with the post. And Ayok Mo is certainly wearing the scars of war for his sins there. And he's going to require some treatment as well. Trying to latch on to that little clipped delivery from Schumacher. Hung in the air for an age. It was a good take from Daniel Solski. Ayok Mo just throwing everything at that one to try and turn us home ahead of the Wolves goalkeeper, and didn't work out in his favour. Would have taken all the air out of his body there, I fancy. Such was the heavy nature of the collision. He's sat back up now. We can use the break here to take you through some updates from elsewhere. Rockdale, a goal to the good over Mount Druitt, which is a good piece of news for the Mariners. Matthew Karamalevsky scoring in the 20th minute there. Sydney Olympic have just equalised against Sutherland as well, as have St George in the last couple of minutes, having equalised against Marconi. Later this afternoon, of course, your final fixture for round 19, Manly United playing host to Sydney FC. Back to live action here at Plume Park, of course. Sights firmly set on this one. Ayok Mo has just been reintroduced to the field of play. Good news for the Central Coast Mariners. Dylan Ryan. Again, looking to try and clip one in behind for Gray. Olsen will pick up on the scraps. Working their way into the area. Gray and Beattie will pull the trigger. Flag is up on the far touch line. Wade. Oh, the Mariners, again, possibly the masters of their own demise. And it's a very good save from Joel Wade to deny Nicholas Olsen. Again, just playing their way into trouble. Utter insistence at times on playing out from the back. It's got them into trouble once already this afternoon, of course. The goal from Raffaelli. And nearly had a second from very similar circumstances. Joel Wade had to be snappy, and he was. A little variation on the corner here for Seb Duarte. Able to free his feet enough to find Machio Vecchio, but loose pass from him. Pecora able to clip it forwards. Beattie getting there just ahead of Rose. Wollongong able to just calm it down. They don't need to try and force it. Dylan Ryan now. Mascio Vecchio trying to turn around the outside of Pecora, who saw it all the way, and then Joel Wade had to race across the byline to prevent the corner. Able to do so, but put into touch virtually directly in front of our broadcast position here at Plume. As we tick over the half-hour mark here at Plume Park. Just the one goal in it, of course, courtesy of Rafael Leai. Here is the goal scorer, Leai. Back to Busnell, Timpota affecting a sort of half press, really. Busnell forced to just check his movement there and turn back. Dylan Ryan thought about the big raking crossfield ball, instead takes an extra couple of touches and links up with Mascio Vecchio. Return pass never came. Kanazumi going centrally this time. Olsen just looking to open up the pitch here with Jassen. Dinked ball in behind there for Beattie. Square ball was intended for Olsen, and again absolutely telegraphed by Lawrence Taylor. His touch evaded him and then forced to concede the free kick rather than concede possession. In fact, he's really done both in the same action. Is Seb Duarte. His brother, of course, Nico Duarte, now embedded with the Mariners A-League setup. Came through the academy setup himself here, Nico Duarte. El Helu. Mo looking to release Mpota in the sort of half space, really. Busnell always favourite to get there. His clearance falling very kindly indeed for Aok Mo. Square for Taylor. Beattie has a couple of chops at the legs of Taylor, who is able to shift it onto Schumacher. Newitz underlapping was Mo. The ball's just run out of play ahead of Aok Mo. Just a goal kick at the end of it. May have even been a free kick in favour of Wolves. There's a bit of holding going on there, really. Little chop at the legs of Dylan Ryan by El Helu. Referee just waited to see if any advantage would accrue. Wolves still had possession, but negative possession really as they were going backwards. It does feel like at times that perhaps they are just going through the motions a little bit. Wollongong, but they're getting the job done, and that's what matters. Kanazumi, Ryan. Olsen's made a good-looking run on this near touchline. Ryan tries to release him. A little too far ahead of Nicholas Olsen, though. Can be such an expansive player, Nicholas Olsen, as well. Loves to really stretch defences. Interesting sort of patterns and movements off the ball. That's what I enjoy watching. Another one I enjoy watching here, Aok Mo and Lawrence Taylor. Now, Pecora inverting momentarily and linking up with Schumacher. Rose and Aokmo have switched flanks again, and Rose has had his pocket pinched. Beatty, again it's Leai, looking to go through the gears, driving into the area. Rafa Leai just checks his run, which allows Rocco Smith to step in. And then Paragully blocking the resultant shot. Still they come here, Wollongong. Duarte via Machio Vecchio. Jassen. There's a beating of Mpota. Now Leai. Weaving. Jassen again it is. Forced back to halfway just to try and reload, recycle, regroup, really. Kanazumi. Gisnell. And wide. It will go. Plenty of side-to-side stuff here from Wollongong. Kanazumi, well, I thought he might have looked to launch one long instead. And just look to retain possession here. As we said, they don't need to try and force it. Trying to just push and pull the Mariners out of shape. Similar to how Manly operated, and there's a bit of verticality. Again, it's that excellent range of passing on display from Kanazumi. Finding Leai with a couple of step-overs on the edge of the area. Clipped in towards Beatty. It will fall for Olsen on the spin. That's his sort of range, Nicholas Olsen. Never really had the contact or the purchase required, though. Looking for his 10th goal of the season, of course, Nicholas Olsen. We just saw the shots on target statistic on screen. Mariners still looking for their first shot on target of this match. Of course, 8 goals in the league for Nicholas Olsen, as we said. 9 in all competitions, including 1 in the Australia Cup in that 2-1 defeat as El Helu offside. Bit of a goal drought in the league, though, by Nicholas Olsen's standards. Hasn't scored since back in round 11 against another academy side in Sydney FC. Went close earlier in the half, drew a very good save out of Joel Wade. This time, though, it's Damon Gray. Beatty with a darting run towards the edge of the area. Pass never arrived. And again, Wollongong just recycling through Kanazumi. Now Jassen. Again, just checking his run and finding some support square in Beatty. Dylan Ryan now looking to stretch the pitch. Olsen, who's just dropped off the lines. And all the way back into his own half, Nicholas Olsen. That's not where he wants to operate. Being harassed and harried all the way back there by El Helu. Olsen in the strangely unfamiliar role of centre half momentarily. A difficult one for Kanazumi to control. He does so expertly, though. Seb Duarte. Now, Kanazumi. Looking for Lei on this near touch line. Pecora is absolutely touch tight to him. Pecora, again, just harassing and bullying, really, Rafa Lei all the way back to his own goalkeeper. Lei's got a bit of green grass in front of him on this near touch line if Kanazumi can find him. Go to Dylan Ryan, who will in turn look to clip one into the half space. It's all too far ahead of both Lei and Beatty. Lei's quick, but he's not that quick. As we creep into the final 5 minutes of the first stanza here at Plume. Just the one goal in it between the Mariners and the Wolves. Courtesy of course, Rafa Lei. We mentioned earlier in the piece, of course, the Wolf Den on tour, travelling supporters of Wollongong. And I feel I may have sold them short, in fact. I did say it was a two-man Wolf pack, and, well, they've increased their numbers somewhat further to 3. What a showing. It's a 300% increase on their Wolf Den from last season. Positive signs all over the place for Wollongong today. Full credit, of course, to the travelling Wollongong supporters. It's not a short trip, as this one is worked in towards Gray, and it's a scuffed clearance, which will fall kindly for Beatty, who will get the shot blocked, and then, well, Seb Duarte from range, and it takes a touch on the way through. Will be a corner. And I also nearly called Seb Duarte Nico Duarte. That's a mistake I won't want to make too often, with the Duarte family sitting not too far away from us here at Plume. Sure they won't mind. Olsen it will be across to take. In swinging delivery incoming. It's hoisted, it's high, it's deep, and it's nodded back across the face by Kanazumi. Jassen couldn't reel it in though. El Helu will just prod it clear towards Rose. He's marshalled all the way by Seb Duarte. Feels like this one just needs something to spark it into life somewhat. Could this be the moment? Lei racing after it. Wade quickly off his goal line to effect the clearance. It was sliced, right? Really, the clearance from Joel Wade straight up into the afternoon sky. And then eventually over the touchline. Busnell. Beatty. Then Busnell forced all the way back to Solski. Half decent looking bit of distribution that from Solski. Mariners wanted the handball, which was never going to come, as Lei able to swing it into the area. Joel Wades hadn't aged to see it. Arriving there ahead of Mascio Vecchio. Mariners again with their usual modus operandi of playing their way out from the back, and eventually Paragali will play one forwards towards El Helu, who was lurking in an offside position. No real complaints from Ahmed El Helu.
my all the money, cost them all to get printed. Not a whole lot of money.
Solski driving one forwards. Pecora nodding one on to Ayukmo. Rocco Smith. Joel Wade's under an awful amount of pressure there from Olsen, and he's done well to keep his composure and clip it forward. Mo was able to nod it onto Mpota, but Mpota couldn't bring it under his spell, and that's a very tidy looking bit of footwork there from Rafa Leoi, who eventually has his pocket picked by Jai Rose. The Mariners now trying to spark themselves into life, spark themselves into action here. Rose trying to weave around a couple of Wolves there. Wolves always snapping at the heels of Jai Rose and able to clear their lines as well. Olsen, Giassen looking to be rapid in transition here are Wollongong. It's Leoi on this near touch line. Maybe thought about the shot there, did Rafa Leoi. Instead, it goes to Mascio Vecchio, who will try and weave his way through the heart of the Mariners' defence. They'll win a corner through the regulation 45 minutes here at Plume. Looks like just the 1 minute of time to be added on. Which seems to have also expired, but perhaps just about enough time for Wolves to take the corner. Olsen it will be again across to take and swing this one in. It's central. It's Damon Gray was rising, and that will be the final action as Damon Gray nods over here at Plume Park. Not the prettiest, not the cleanest of performances by either side really, but Wollongong I'm sure won't mind. It is they who head to the sheds here at the interval in the ascendancy. Just the one goal in it, courtesy of Rafa Leoi. And that's the current state of play here in round 19 at Plume Park. We're off for a short break here, but don't go anywhere. Join us for the second stanza in about 15 or so minutes' time.
just gone bathroom. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you seen Kylie. Not Kylie, not Kylie.
A very warm welcome indeed back to Pluim Park here in leafy Lisarow on the Central Coast. It's Sunday afternoon football, round 19 of the New South Wales NPL men's competition. With the Mariners playing host to Wollongong Wolves in a distance derby of sorts. It is Wollongong who hold the ascendancy in this one, courtesy of just a solitary goal, thanks to their speedster, Rafa Leai, capitalising on a Mariners' defensive error, poking the ball beyond the Mariners' gloveman Joel Wade. First half of very few, if any, real sort of clear-cut opportunities for either side. 45 minutes of action to come with the Mariners resuming hostilities here at Pluim. May have seen the stats that came up at half-time as Joel Wade may have just played his way into trouble. It's Beattie who immediately, upon the restart, doubles the Wolves' advantage, makes his way across to the Wolf Den to celebrate. Not even a minute inside the restart. Marcus Beattie has put the Wolves 2 goals to the good. And it's almost a carbon copy of the first one. This time Joel Wade with the errant pass straight to the feet of Marcus Beattie. And the 3-hour trip for the Wolf Den will feel like absolutely nothing now. 2 goals to the good here. Very happy return on their away day. Very unhappy return to Pluim Park for the Mariners as it stands. If they are to get anything out of this one, they're going to have to do it the hard way, and they've made things hard for themselves. Hello, keeping Busnell honest. Busnell able to just dance around him and launch it forwards. Jai Rose will pick up the resultant pass. Smith assessing the options in front, one of whom was Mpota. Good strength initially from Mpota, but outdone by Busnell. Striding forward now, clipped into the area by Pecora. Just a little too far behind Mpota and El Helu. Rocco Smith just going through the back of Damon Gray. Wollongong did find themselves 2 goals up last time these two sides met. The Mariners were able to rescue a point at the death. They're certainly looking much better value for their lead in this one. As we said, there were also 2 goals to the good last time these sides met at this venue. The 2024 edition of the NPL men's competition. The Mariners again coming from behind and securing all 3 points, in fact, on that occasion. The Mariners will be praying for another miracle of sorts, really. They are yet to muster a shot on target. They yet to muster a single shot at all, in fact. Wollongong with 8 shots so far, 4 on targets. 2 of those finding the back of the net. Goal immediately after the restart from Marcus Beattie came so quickly that we weren't even able to confirm any potential changes at half-time, of which I can now confirm there have been none for either side. Both sides returning to the field as they started the afternoon. Dylan Ryan, his clearance was blocked off by Ayukmo. We can bring you some updates from elsewhere as well, particularly a couple of updates that have some pretty major implications at the top end of the table. We'll just see how this plays out. Solski able to effect the clearance under the press of El Helu. It's Taylor. Gyros. Passing lane blocked off by Mascio Vecchio, who did well to keep it in the field of play, but unable to stick the pass. Lawrence Taylor stealing in and had his heels clipped on the way through as well. So that news from elsewhere atop the table, of course. Rockdale currently lead Mount Druitt by 3-0, which is good news for the Mariners. Still maintaining just the 2 points between they and Mount Druitt. Stretching to great effect is Banri Kanazumi there. Couldn't stick the pass though. But with that 3-0 advantage and with, that's a scything challenge there from Seb Duarte. Much to the, disappointment, I guess, is probably a polite way of putting it. Of those in yellow and navy, and Seb Duarte will go straight into the referee's notebook, the first to draw the wrath of the man in the middle this afternoon. Nowhere near the ball really is Seb Duarte. As we were just saying, with Rockdale leading 3-0 and Marconi currently at level peggings with St George, that would actually send Rockdale atop the table. Leapfrogging Marconi, who had such a bright start to the season as well. 11 or 12 rounds unbeaten. And if you want a prime example of the curse of the commentator, Marconi have just scored. Situation normal atop the table as is. Never mind me. Giassen is now all the way back to Solski. Jass and Mascio Vecchio, those two exchanging passes again. Handy-looking patterns of play on this occasion. Beatty now sweeping one out to the far touchline for Leai. Scored the opener, now bursts into the area, checks back, able to link up with Giassen, who was so inverted there. I wasn't actually certain it was him initially. Wollongong's right fullback Ben Giassen operating momentarily on the other side of the pitch, and Lucas Valela will take the opportunity to go to his bench for the first time this afternoon. Nginga and Pota, it will be to take his leave. Jesse Mantell sporting the number 17 jersey on in place of Pota. Brings an entirely different sort of dynamic to what is offered by Nginga and Pota does Jesse Mantell. Naturally more of a wide sort of player, so I would assume this will see a bit of a reshuffle up top for the Mariners. Ayok Mo, it looks like, will operate up top alongside Ahmed El Helou. Of course, no Harper Riles this afternoon for the Mariners after he came off injured in the early stages of that 1-1 draw with Manly on Thursday evening. Short turnaround for the Mariners, of course. Mantell also saw some action on that Thursday evening himself. Wasn't far away from scoring, in fact, that evening, drawing a very good save out of Levi Kay. Half volley from the edge of the area. Jason. Again, it's El Helou affecting the press, and again, it's Busnell able to free his feet and just play back to Solski. Mantell. Wasn't the cleanest sort of challenge on Ryan, but it was effective enough. Paragali it was, pressed by Gray, stretching to prevent the corner. He's done so, but forced to concede the throw. As we said, 6 matches in total for you Sunday afternoon. 5 of those in the 3 o'clock time slot, and the final match at 5 o'clock this afternoon, Manly playing host to Sydney FC. Here at Plume, though, it is Wollongong who lead the Mariners by 2-0. Long throw, hoisted in towards the penalty spot. Olsen couldn't quite bring it under control, and then the strike will come at the end of it all. Not the most likely of candidates you'd think there is Harrison Busnell. It was always rising, just leaning back as he pulled the trigger there. Harrison Busnell. Canberra product, of course. Very highly rated by those in the know in the nation's capital. Speaking of highly rated, here's Lawrence Taylor. Pecora racing forward on that far touch line. 1 touch to set himself, 2nd touch to cross. Big cry of keeper from Daniel Solski, who will rise to pluck it out of the afternoon sky. Beatty. Duarte just helps it on. Ryan trying to skip around the challenge of El Helou. Just left a little bit on Dylan Ryan after the fact there as well. Final touch, in fact, was off Dylan Ryan, so Mariners throw it will be. Quite literally throwing possession away, though. Bit of a tug on the jersey there from Rocco Smith. He'll have to be careful. Damon Gray able to get it away to Leoi. Now it's Jason. Inside for Duarte. Maybe thought about the shot, instead just rolls his foot over it and plays back to Ryan, and Beatty scored the 2nd, of course. Matter of seconds after the restart. Have to be one of the quickest goals in the competition in terms of goals coming after the restart. That one from Marcus Beatty. Not even a minute after hostilities had been resumed here. As we head towards the hour mark here at Plume. This again just feels like it's settling into a bit of a familiar pattern. Wollongong just happy to dictate terms here Olsen. Dry Rose forcing Olsen nearly all the way back to his own penalty area. Able to get the pass away in the end, and then it was Seb Duarte winning the free kick under the challenge of Jesse Mantell. Just going through the legs of Seb Duarte there, and Olsen gets us back underway. Spraying one forward towards Gray, and, well, again, it's just getting a little bit scrappy out there. Lawrence Taylor taking away the legs of Alex Masciovecchio. Clipped out towards Giassen. A few Wolves unhappy with that ball from Seb Duarte, wanting him to just play the simple pass, play a bit safer, which perhaps tells you everything you need to know about the patterns of play that we've witnessed so far. Wollongong happy to play the high percentage passes, maintain possession, as we said, dictate the terms on which this match is being played, and it's been to, well, great effect so far as they do hold a 2-0 advantage. Mariners still yet to muster a shot on goal. Mewett. El Helu hoping to change that stat, and it's a good piece of defending that from Harrison Busnell. His clearance, you may have heard through the effects mic there, just landing on the roof of the canteen, or the bar I should say, the bar on the hill here at Plume Park, which does remain closed today. No employees or spectators were harmed in the making of that clearance from Harrison Busnell. Mewett. Mo is just operating as a bounce pass there. Mewett tried to bustle his way through a sea of red shirts. Mewett has stayed forward on this near touch line, wanting the pass from Paragali, which will arrive. Mewett stretching to try and bring it under his spell. Hooked over the shoulder of Rocco Smith. Dangerous, living dangerously there again. Solski has to be quick to sort his feet out, and is, under the press of Mo. Mewett now. Taylor. Looking to utilise the width of the pitch with Pecora, but Ryan was there first, had body position as well, and wins the goal kick. Solski, this time just sending all the options forwards. And launches one long, halfway into the Mariners' half as well. Mantell does well to skip around the initial challenge and then has his legs taken away. Referee says nothing doing. Olsen nods one on. Wade, again, it's a rather hurried sort of clearance there from Joel Wade. Just really slicing off the outside of the boot somewhat and into touch on the near touch line. Schumacher picks it up in the middle of the park. Mantell. Bit of an increased sense of urgency perhaps now from the Mariners. Mo. Twisting and turning one way and the other, and then shifting back onto his right and running out of room. It is turned home by El Helu, but Ayok Mo unable to keep it in the field of play. Brighter signs, though, if nothing else, from the hosts. Ayokmo, yes, the ball, just getting a look at the replay there, the ball certainly a good couple of yards out over the byline. Now, Machio Vecchio, what can he conjure on the far touchline? Well, he can conjure a throw in. Wollongong in no real sort of hurry to take, perhaps just entering game management mode really as we tick into the final 25 minutes here at Pluim Park. And why not? 2-0 lead. Leo into the channel he goes, marshalled all the way by Rocco Smith, and well, that's a good piece of defending from Rocco Smith. And then he's turned it over again, and now it's Marcus Beattie. Tried to send the ball around the outside of Mewett and go around the inside, but Mewett alert to it all the way. Mariners again in their insistence and playing out from the back here. Taylor, Smith, Mewett. If they can break the first line of the press as they have done, they may be able to conjure up something themselves. Swept wide to Mantell, who's got green grass in front of him to move into. Mantell, shot is blocked by Ryan. That's the first real shot in anger the Mariners have actually mustered. Perhaps growing into this one a little bit here. And now Lucas Valela will go to his bench once again. A double change inbound. Ayokmo taking his leave, as is, looks like Kai Schumacher. Harrison Jablonski, one of those entering the fray. As he did, of course, in that 1-1 draw with Manly on Thursday evening as well. Angus Reid, of course, also into the action as Jai Rose harassing and harrying Busnell, winning it initially. Jablonski couldn't quite reel it in, and that's a smart bit of play from Damon Gray to just roll the challenge and the attention of Rocco Smith. Mariners able to hook it clear eventually, and it was that man, Rocco Smith, who did just that. Just the two remaining potential changes on the bench for the Mariners, Freddie Clunas and Shumba Motokoyi. Of course, reserve goalkeeper Jared Williams available as well. Can't envisage, unless there is anything untoward that occurs, that would be a change that would be made. I would expect at some point to see at least Freddie Clunas into the action. Wollongong yet to go to their bench in this one, as Olsen just rolls his foot over it, and it's a comfortable claim for the Mariners gloveman there, Joel Wade. Smith, again it's Ben Mewett advancing on this near touch line and just couldn't quite keep it in play there. Really looking to utilise the full width of the pitch and then some. Fancy we will see a change inbound very shortly for Wollongong, but first Giassen to take this throw in. Taylor turns it around the corner for Rose. El Helu is offside. Not for the first time this afternoon, really looking to play as high as possible, Ahmed El Helu. Katazumi and Busnell always looking across the line. Jassen Leai, Duarte hooks it forwards. Leai trying to burst through the heart of the Mariners' defence there. Cool as you like, though, is Angus Reid. Paragali. Trying to spray one forwards, but it's Wollongong once again who emerge with it. Olsen. Driving it, Michael Paragali was Nicholas Olsen. Final touch, in fact, was off Olsen. And behind for just a goal kick, and Wollongong will use the opportunity, the break in play, to go to the bench for the first time this afternoon. A double change, in fact, for the Wolves. Seb Duarte, it looks like, will be one of those to take his leave. Industrious shift at the, or in the engine room, really, I should say, for the Wolves this afternoon. A change for Seb Duarte, wound sub sim. Number 7. Like for like change that will be. Looks like the other player to take his leave from here. It looks like Damon Gray. Fourth officials board never arriving, unfortunately. Lucas Tranchevsky will be on in place of Damon Gray. Lawrence Taylor, meanwhile, for the Mariners, has been forced off. It looks like an injury to Lawrence Taylor, who gets through an absolute mountain of work in the engine room for the Mariners, and that is a blow for the hosts to lose someone of the calibre of Lawrence Taylor as well. Mind you, Freddie Clunas, very handy and capable replacements. In the centre of the park. Looks like your partner, Angus Reid's in the engine room for the Mariners. Here is Clunas, linking up with Mantell. Clunas will get the return pass as well, and then is dragged down. He tried to drive at the heart of the Wolves' defence. First action for wound sub sim is to concede the free kick. It's some ways out, a free kick, and the angle almost certainly not favouring the right foot of Luca Pecora if he was to think about any sort of direct route to goal. Jablonski across to offer the left-footed option. I fancy Luca Pecora just to whip this one in towards the back post. Paragali's forward, as is Reid. Alhelu cuts an imposing figure up there as well. It does get floated in towards the head of Paragali. He will nod it forwards. Wollongong able to dig it out of their own area initially, and now Giasson will complete the clearance. It's over the heads of Pecora. This could be very handy indeed for Olsen. Now Mascio Vecchio into the area. Mascio Vecchio. Well, perhaps in two minds there, Alex Mascio Vecchio, whether to go directly for goal or pull it back. In the end, it was both, but neither. Reid. Oh, good piece of defending that from Dylan Ryan. Tranchevsky. A tussle between he and Mantell, the latter of who emerges with it, and now Rose. Mantell drifting wide. I want to isolate his fullback and drive at him. Instead, has support in the form of Pecora. Reloading through Reid.
Mantell now. Mantell, decent looking delivery. It's over the head of just about everyone though. Mewett will stride forward to pick up the loose ball and will win the corner as well, in spite of the protests from Ben Giasson. Fancy that might actually be the first corner of the afternoon for the Central Coast Mariners. Chance to whip something into the area, give them perhaps a slim lifeline here. Hoisted in towards the back stick, and again it's Solski with the big cry of keeper to rise above everyone and pluck it out of the sky. And it's a good looking bit of distribution that as well, and a very good first touch from Macio Vecchio, who has a lot to do. Was eventually swarmed by a sea of yellow shirts. And then Lei drawing the linesman's flag on this near touchline, lurking again in an offside position. It's a handy ball into the channel here for Jablonski. Solski alert to the danger, racing off his line, plunging at the feet of Harrison Jablonski. El Helu has drifted wide there. Mantell just running out of real estate on the far touchline, Jesse Mantell. Inside the final 15 minutes of the 90 here at Plume. Here in round 19. As you'll see on the scoreboard, of course, Wollongong leading by 2-0. Mariners proving the masters of their own demise. 2 defensive errors costing them 2 goals. Had to be finished, of course, and they were finished off by Rafa Lei in the first half, and Marcus Beattie immediately following the resumption of proceedings here in the second. Here is Beattie. Since that Marcus Beattie goal, the Mariners have been better, still without really creating anything of real sort of substance, and in all fairness that could really apply for both sides. The Wolves just workmanlike. That's a handy looking crossfield diagonal pass there to pick out Giasson. Kanazumi. Once again, Wolves go forward and backward. Just happy to control the tempo. Now striding forward is Busnell. Just passed a couple of challenges as well. Cute little back heel that is from Giasson, Macio Vecchio. Eventually blocked off by Jablonski. Rose then dropping in. Trachevsky. Couldn't quite keep it in the field of play though. Wade this time, sending it forwards. Rising was Giasson over Jablonski. And then in turn going all the way back to Daniel Solski. Oh, how's that for a bit of skill from Rafa Lei? Rainbow flick. Right on the far touchline. Impressive when they come off, and that's perhaps a sign of the confidence of that young man. It's in a bit of a nothing area of the pitch, in all fairness, but why not? Wollongong pulling out the party tricks. Not sure how the Wollongong coaching staff might feel about it, but at the end of it all, they've conceded the free kick as well. One is swung in by Jablonski, repelled initially. Leo will complete the clearance. They'll get the return pass as well and send Nicholas Olsen on a foray forwards. The far touch line. Blocked off by, I can't see, that was Ben Mewett. Was indeed Ben Mewett. Coming across, playing covering defender. Still they come here, Wollongong. Giassen. Again, just going backwards to halfway. Kanazumi. Ryan. Should be cut out by Reid and is. Mariners this time looking to go forward immediately in the direction of Rose, but it's all too close to Kanazumi. Jablonski will have it back for the Mariners. Had Mewett outside him, opted to go central for Rose, who was offside. We'll take the opportunity to give you a bit of an update from elsewhere as well. Sydney Olympic currently leading Sutherland by 2-1. Cyrus Demi's put them ahead there, after Petratos initially put Sutherland ahead in the first stanza. Rockdale, they've added a fourth over Mount Druitt. Karamilevsky, McStay, Najjar and now Marchevsky all on the score sheet down at Illingdon Sports Centre. We're in sub-sim, turning. Leoi just going backwards this time. Of course, at Lambert Park, Apia still leading Blacktown by the solitary goal as well. Marconi still leading St George by 2-1. As Mascio Vecchio just runs out of room on this near touch line. Paragali driving one forwards. El Helu giving chase, and again, El Helu found offside. Not for the first time this evening, not for the first time this half. I have to wonder if Wollongong may opt to go to their bench again as time slowly ticks away in this one. We have Anagnos of course, as an option there. Liam Ball as well as Dax Kelly. All available to them. Mascio Vecchio just lets it run. Now Beatty. Leoi, the 2-goal scorers combining. Leoi, oof. They fizzed into the Mariners defender there, and with the temperature dropping here at Plume, that would certainly tickle. Pass was picked out quite simply by Jablonski there. Clunas. Now Mewett just checks his run. Paragali. Out to the far touchline it goes, and then nodded on by Pecora. Couldn't keep it in the field of play though. And there was no one in a wide area ahead of him in any case. Mascio Vecchio just buzzes about everywhere, does Alex Mascio Vecchio. We're in sub-sim now. Again, going all the way back to Solski. Rose will give chase and Solski will just hoist it upfield. Flag is once again up against Ahmed El Helou. See him lurking in the channel there in the half space, really. But Kanazumi knew exactly where he was. As we tick into the final 5 or so minutes here at Pluim Park. Time getting away from the hosts on this occasion. Looking increasingly unlikely that they'll be able to muster the same sort of miraculous magic that has seen them secure points in their last 2 encounters with Wollongong. And as we suggested earlier, Wollongong now just looking to eat up a bit more of the clock, going to their bench once again. Rafa Leoi, who opened the scoring in the first stanza, will take his leave. It does look like an Agnostopoulos coming on in place of Rafa Leoi. It is indeed. They'll still have one final substitute window available to them as well, should they wish to use it. Olsen. Giassen now. First time delivery straight into the body of Jablonski, who will recover it as well. The fresher of the 2 sets of legs, perhaps, there, Harrison Jablonski. Look at the pressing intensity from Jai Rose here. He's going to keep Solski honest. Solski, cool as you like. Now, bounces off the body of Olsen. He'll get the return pass as well from Mascio Vecchio. Now, Agnostopoulos. Giassen was telegraphed all the way from Mewett. And how about the engine on this young man, Ben Mewett? Striding forward, but couldn't retain possession. He's done well to make the initial interception, and in all fairness to Ben Mewett, I've said it before, but gets through an immense amount of work as the Mariners left full-back. Jai Rose now. Just checks and holds it up and finds some support centrally. Again, it's Mewett overlapping. Instead, Pecora goes himself. May have been wiser counsel to go to this near touch line where Ben Mewett was absolutely eating up the space in front of him. Ben Mewett, reminiscent of a former Mariners legend who is himself in the stands here today. Josh Rose, of course, another left full-back. Mewett can perhaps add some goals to his game. Similar sort of player, what I've seen. Hoisted high towards Jai Rose, and it was a towering sort of header really from Busnell. Olsen now. Giassen. Wound sub Sim. Again, Wollongong happy to just stroke it around and make the Mariners really chase shadows. In fairness, very little joy coming out of this one for the hosts this afternoon. Meanwhile, up the other end, Wollongong looking to create a bit more joy for themselves, but Trachevsky went a bit early. Flag up again. I wonder if either Lions person is earning a bit of overtime today. The amount of times they've had to flag for offside. And there will be another one here. Ahmed El Helu again. Interesting to see the offside stats. Well, I've just seen them actually. 9 offsides for the Central Coast Mariners so far this evening. That would be the 10th. As we tick into the final few seconds of regulation time here at Pluim, Macchio Vecchio looking to perhaps add a third, but it's Ben Mewett again. A good-looking recovery. Takes it off the toe of Macchio Vecchio, but behind for a corner right in front of the travelling Wolf Den. We mentioned the Wolf Den, of course, a couple of times so far in the broadcast. I did have a chat with a couple of them at half-time. They've travelled up by train this afternoon. 3 hours each way, just over, between Wollongong and Lisero. Full credit to the Wolf Den, and a happy away day indeed, of course. This would be a fitting moment to cap off a happy away day for Wollongong. Corner is swung in, repelled initially. Olsen might get another go at it here. Everything just blocked off around him, closed in around him there, and the Mariners look to get forward immediately in search of something late here, perhaps a late consolation. If nothing else, it's Mantell. Oh, Angus Reid just letting it run on a bit of a different wavelength to Clunas there. Clunas will retrieve it though. Just stop and check and assess the options around him. Smith. Nearly left a little bit short of Ben Mewett there, who was eventually bundled off it by Macchio Vecchio, who doesn't necessarily agree with the referee's interpretation, but he doesn't have to. The Mariners with a chance to swing something into the area. Daniel Solski barking instructions forward, ensuring that his wall is set just so. Jablonski it will be to take. 3 in the wall. Jablonski will just look to tail this away from Daniel Solski. He does indeed towards the back stick, and the flag's up again. Fancy that may have... Oh yes, it was offside. It seems to be the referee's assistant indicating on the far touchline. Number 11. Daniel Solski will be in no real hurry to take the restart, of course. At the mercy of the referee as to how much time maybe further added on in this one. I mean, too many stoppages. We did see Lawrence Taylor take a couple of minutes up before going off injured. In further unfortunate news for the Central Coast Mariners. The first injury concern they've had this year within the academy, of course, Prayag Tapa's had his share of hamstring battles. Harper Rolls, another one who went down injured on Thursday evening. Lawrence Taylor, the latest casualty. As Wollongong, again in search of a third, it was Olsen, just evaded him at the crucial moment. And that will be that here at Pluim Park for round 19. Not the prettiest, but it was certainly gritty from Wollongong, who secure all 3 points today. Goals to Rafa Leai in the first half and Marcus Beattie immediately following the restart proved the difference between Wollongong and the Mariners this afternoon. A workmanlike performance from the Travellers and a crucial 3 points as they try and chase down the top 6. For the Mariners, well, they'll have to go back to the drawing board somewhat after a morale-boosting point was secured on Thursday night against Manly. Their return to Pluim Park, not going to script for them, but they will be back in action here at their home on Sunday afternoon next week at 3 o'clock as they host Sydney United 58. the only team which they've actually beaten so far this season. For Wollongong, they'll have their home comforts to look forward to next weekend as well, as they play host to Rockdale Illendon. That's a wrap for round 19 here from Plume Park. On behalf of Football New South Wales, from myself, Pete Pryor, I'll see you all next time. It's bye for now.